Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Tabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this show here, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm sure it's going to get some people kind of going back and forth in the comment section, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I said, hey, why not? Let's broach it today. So this afternoon or this morning, however you want to look at it, I was going through the internet, not really much to talk about. But then I came across an article from Fadeaway World that was referencing a conversation that took place on Gilbert Arena's show, which is called Gil's Arena. Now on this show, he has people like Rashard McCann, Brandon Jennings. I've seen Kenyon Martin come on there at different times, and they kind of go back and forth debating basketball topics. They debate basketball in a much raw way. Guys can curse at one another. You see guys shout, but they don't disrespect each other. They just kind of get into the passion of sports, right? And sometimes sports is discussed exactly like that, right? So in this particular episode, the article was really centered on players that essentially changed the game. And the article kind of led with the premise of, you know, Gilbert Arenas leaves off LeBron James off this list. So what did I do? I started to watch the video itself. It's about 17 minutes long, pretty long video. And they were basically given their reason. First of all, they listed the players that they felt actually changed the game. And then as the video went on, they actually then started to list the reasons why they put some guys on the list and why they, for example, decided to exclude LeBron James from this list. So what we want to do is want to play the conversation between these three gentlemen, Gilbert Arenas, Rashard McCann, and Brandon Jennings. And then we're going to come back and react to what they had to say. So take a listen to that there.
So let's talk bigger picture here. When we look just historically NBA, what we've seen in our lives, because we can't go back. But what players have changed how NBA basketball is played, in your guys' opinion?
That changed the game. The way it's played, the way it's...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's say somebody like Steph, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's number one for me.
Okay, so did Magic and Showtime change it? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Jordan changed it.
Yep. Shaq changed it.
Shaq changed it.
AI
changed it.
I'm gonna say Steve Nash, bro. Suns, the way that the Suns played, bro, the way he played, it changed the guard sentiment, man, of just being a guard that can space the floor.
I can't say Steve Nash. We can say D'Antoni.
D'Antoni-ish.
We can say D'Antoni.
But he was the perfect player to orchestrate that.
It was, yeah, you can say D'Antoni small ball because it really actually it kind of forced people to go small ball to keep up with him a little bit.
I even got to put you in there.
Did LeBron change the game?
He didn't.
Not even a little bit?
No, I mean, it's not in a bad way, but it's like the game was already moving in a certain way where LeBron was just in the top. He was in the top tier of the game, but he didn't change it.
Is it because, or just because he's just so big?
Yeah, like his strength.
The kids can't relate to just coming down, dunking on people. Like if a kid can't do it, then they're not gonna value it.
You can't just go get a body like that, right? You just can't get hops like that. So it's like changing the game. We might have wanted to be stronger and jump higher, but like to be like LeBron.
Physically.
MJ
like we already knew.
Like
we wasn't doing this, and we wasn't like, you know.
Like when I say James Harden, it's like James Harden and Kyrie, together. That it was that Bob game, bringing in the extra moves and the fancy play, trying to be a highlight reel.
Yeah.
So you heard what they had to say. In my honest opinion, I thought they made some very sound points. Now, if we're looking at players that changed the game based on how I see it, and obviously there are more players that I'm going to forget, but some of the players that came to my mind, I thought of people like Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki was a 7-footer that was legitimately out there shooting mid-range jump shots, three-point shots. And I think what Dirk did, I think Dirk kind of ushered in a new era for guys where you see guys like, for example, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a 7-footer, but he plays like a 3 or a 2. He has the ball handling skills. He can put the ball on the floor, get to various spots on the floor, raise up and shoot. I think because we saw a guy like Dirk, a 7-foot guy, it kind of gave these younger guys or the guys that come after him the confidence to shoot the ball that way. You look at another center like Nikola Jokic. Now, obviously, Nikola Jokic is more of a traditional big. Dirk did post up, but he usually post up into a fadeaway shot, one-legged fadeaway, whereas Nikola Jokic can post up, hit a one-legged fadeaway, which is a Dirk Nowitzki shot, by the way. You saw a lot of guys try to incorporate that shot. I saw Kobe and these guys try to incorporate that shot. But then Nikola Jokic can also shoot the ball, have a hook shot and all of these stuff. But you can definitely see the influences of Dirk Nowitzki within his game. And then, of course, you have players like Joel Embiid, where you can say players like Joel Embiid may have been influenced by Dirk Nowitzki, but Joel Embiid was also influenced by another player on my list that we're going to get to in just a second. So we have Dirk Nowitzki. Then we have Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan basically influenced everyone. MJ made everyone want to fly through the air with their tongue hanging out, hit fadeaway buzzer beaters. Michael Jordan, I believe, influenced every type of basketball player. And he changed the game in a way, right? He definitely changed the game in a way where you had a guard that's 6'6" actually winning championships. Usually in the past, championships were centered around taller players like centers, like Kareem, like Wilt, and Bill Russell, and these guys. So to have a 6'6" guy go out there and win championship, it showed the Kobe Bryants of the world, the Dwayne Wades of the world, that you can win. But also you had great players like Jerry West as well. So I'm going to throw Jordan on the list. I'm also going to throw Jerry West on the list in terms of someone that changed the game. I'm also going to throw Dr. J on the list, Dr. Julius Erving. I'm going to throw him on the list because he influenced Michael Jordan, and he changed the game in a way too because he brought in the pizzazz, the flair into the game. So I'm throwing in him as well. Obviously, I got to throw in Allen Iverson. Y'all already know I'm going to give AI his props. Now, some people say, but what about AI? How did AI change the way that the game's played? First of all, AI was one of the few players, of course you have Isaiah Thomas, that would attack bigs and basically crash into the basket. He had this killer crossover that everybody wanted to incorporate. Allen Iverson had everybody out there trying to be a crossover king like Tim Hardaway and these guys. So I'm throwing AI in there. Of course, you got to throw in Shaq. I agree with Shaq. Shaq was the most dominant big. He showed you that playing with sheer force, you can be a very dominant player. You saw players like Dwight Howard try to mirror that to a certain extent, although Dwight Howard wasn't as skilled, wasn't as polished on the offensive side of the floor as Shaq. And then, of course, I'm going to throw in there Kobe. Now, some people say, but Kobe is a kind of a mirror of Jordan, right? And that's true because Jordan heavily influenced Kobe. But the reason I'm throwing in Kobe is because of all of the players that he influenced after him to want to be mid-range assassins. You could think of Devin Booker. You could think of DeMar DeRozan. You could think of Kawhi Leonard. You could think of Kyrie Irving. There's so many players that tried to patent their game after Kobe, right? Having great ball handling skills, could post up, great footwork, can get to the can have a pull-up jump shot, can get to their spot, hit a J. So I think Kobe heavily influenced a lot of players. Now, in the case of LeBron James, in terms of changing the game, it's very hard to mimic what LeBron does, and I think they're 100% on the money. How can you mimic what LeBron does? LeBron is a 6'9", 260-pound lightning bolt on the court. How can you mimic LeBron? How? I think a person that you could possibly say mimics LeBron's game is probably Giannis to a certain extent, but I don't really see how you can mimic LeBron James's game. I really, really don't see it. So to me, I think they got their list 100% correct, and I definitely agree with it. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about their list? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show.